think of a very famous literary figure associated with South Florida, particularly Key West, what comes to mind? Ernest Hemingway. Well, he's not here, but he kind of is in spirit. We're going to be going aboard the Legend, which is a replica of his famous Pilar. So get ready to tour some history modernized. And make sure you enjoy the video. Let me know by giving it a like. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe, ring the notification bell. We're going on more adventures together.
Well, good morning. I'm Wes Wheeler. I'm president of the Wheeler Yacht Company. My family built yachts for many, many years, from 1910 till 1965. They built 4,000 boats and yachts and ships during the war. And one of the famous boats that they built was called the Pilar, which was Ernest Hemingway's boat, which he bought from my grandfather in 1934. That boat is iconic. He wrote The Old Man and the Sea on that boat, and he lived and fished it for 25 years in Cuba. So when I got interested in the project, I reformed the company, I bought the trademarks, and I went to Cuba with my wife and Hillary Hemingway, the niece of Ernest Hemingway, and we took measurements of the Pilar, which is still sitting there at Ernest Hemingway's house in near Cuba, near Cojimar. And I took measurements, came back to the US, and I reverse engineered the entire boat and built a modern version of Hemingway's boat. So this is the Legend, and Legend is an exact copy. It is technologically superior to anything in this boat show. So the boat looks like it's old, but it actually runs like it's a new boat. We launched in September of last year in Brooklin, Maine. She was built by the Brooklin Boat Yard in Brooklin, Maine, and we launched in September, and we've taken it 2,000 miles to get to this marina today, or this week. So you're looking at the boat here. We have underneath the cockpit, we have two 370 horsepower Yanmar diesels under the cockpit here. We have a very large Onan 13 kilowatt generator. We have in the back a gyro stabilizer called a Seakeeper, which keeps the boat level and keeps the boat from rolling too much. And it has dynamic zip wake trim tabs that go up and down automatically as we come down the coast of the US. So the boat has technical processes and engines and things that allow the boat to be very, very economically stable. Up here at the helm, this wheel was cast from an original 1934 wheel that we found with an owner who loaned it to us, and we recast the wheel. These dials are made to simulate what it used to look like back in 1934, but these dials actually don't control anything. They're actually being fed from the network on the ship. The yacht has its own Wi-Fi, it has its own smart system, everything's electronically controlled, and the electronics are feeding that dial. And we've hid as much as we can so you don't see the technology, but this is the Seakeeper, the zip wake, the Yanmar controls, and of course we have our VHF and our autopilot here. We start the engine here, and so you can see that. And then of course we have standard controls, the Yanmar controls. When we built the boat, we also had to find some of the original components. So we had to search for a bell that looked like the original. We had to find a compass that looked like the original, the searchlight, of course, all the hardware and the look of the boat, including all these fittings, had to be sourced to look like the actual boat from 1934. We come down below. Now this boat interior looks nothing like Hemingway's. Hemingway would have had a very sparse interior because he was a fisherman. And so he had basic bunks, and he had a very simple galley with an ice box. And he would have had 4 bunks in the forward cabin for his crew, which are fisher people. We've designed the interior to look like the old boat, but it's really much more comfortable. So we can live on this boat. My wife and I, it's very easy. As you can see, it's very comfortable. We have a head here with a shower. Something here that's very unique, and if you can get this shot here, these are the electronics and the controls and the guts of the boat. But if you don't want to see any of that, we just hide it all so you don't see it. And then of course the stainless steel galley. It's got a full galley, the induction stove, we have a refrigerator, freezer, all stainless steel here. This dinette is meant to be also a double bed, so we can push this down to make a double bed. This was very similar to the original, but very, very nice. Lots of storage, 2 nice couches, and this is my wine cellar, and this is my toolkit below the 2 chairs. So again, two custom-made lounge chairs. This could easily be converted to another bunk if you really wanted that, but we wanted this for a nice, comfortable place to live. And in the forward cabin, we have a double bed here, which can be isolated, with a standard pull-out door. Door closes, so you can isolate that cabin. We have closets. Underneath, we have the water tanks, the fresh water tanks, and the black water tank. But pretty simple interior, but very comfortable. So we've been very proud to build this. By the way, just a couple of smart facts about the boat. All of the boat is made with 3 types of wood. We have Douglas fir, which makes the structural components. It was cold molded, which is basically taking frames, and you put mahogany plywood around the frames. You glue them together, you vacuum bag them, and then you heat them, and then you cover it with 1 layer of fiberglass. So the entire hull is wood, made out of 2 types of wood, Douglas fir and mahogany. And the mahogany is African mahogany. And all the interior and all the exterior bright work is also African mahogany, all made from 2 trees. So we bought 2 trees to make sure the grains would match. So the interior came from 1 tree and the exterior from another tree. And we have some extra if we need that in the future. But this is Hemingway's boat called Legend. Very proud, built in Brooklin Boat Yard and launched last year in September. And thanks for your attention.
name is Steve White. I'm president of Brooklin Boat Yard, and we are the licensed builder for the Wheeler Yacht Company for their line of Wheeler yachts. If you ordered a boat, it's about 10 to 12 months from the time you place your order for the boat. This boat, as you see it right now, is 1.6 million. It's available. This is fully loaded with all the options with seakeeper, generator, air conditioning, bow thruster, all of that. You can subtract from any of those, or you can add to any of those, which will affect the pricing. The boat is powered with a pair of Yanmar 370 horsepower V8 diesels, which is a big upgrade from the original boat that Hemingway had with just a single cylinder Chrysler Crown engine of 100 horsepower. So we have a top speed of 34 miles an hour and a cruising speed of 25 miles an hour with a cruising range of about 300 miles at cruising speed.
And where have you taken this so far? Have you followed any of the routes that Hemingway did?
I think we probably have not followed so many of the routes that Hemingway did, although we are now in southern Florida. Obviously, he was here for a while. We launched the boat in September of 2020 in Mid-Coast, Maine at Brooklin Boat Yard. And from there, we have taken the boat on our own bottom from Maine to here in West Palm Beach. So Maine, New Hampshire, Newport, New York City, Annapolis, Rhode Island, and Charleston, all the way down, sort of varying between staying inside in the ICW or going offshore and down here. Eventually, our plan is to take the boat to Key West, obviously where Hemingway spent a lot of time. And we've been invited to go over to Cuba to the Hemingway Marina there, and they'd love to see the boat and have us come over and pay a visit. And the owners would like to do that someday. We actually had one of the Hemingway look-alike guys show up here at the boatyard yesterday, and he came up and he said, "Oh, you finally delivered my boat to me." He'd won the look-alike award 8 times over the years, and so we got some pictures of him at the wheel of the boat, which is pretty fun.
That's awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
it's an absolutely beautiful piece of art.
Thank you very much.
Hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know by smashing the like button. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can come along on future adventures on this channel. I'll see you soon. Bye.